Hello everyone and welcome to Draw Your Swords, an actual play D&D podcast played with comic artists and writers. I am Sandy, the Dungeon Master, and joining me this week.
Hi, I'm Harry and I play Imlin the Halfling Rogue.
Hi, I'm Holly and I play Veda the Fire Genasi Bard.
Hi,
That's a record.
I'm Lily and I play Fig the Furbolg Druid. And that hag last week was awful, but we lived, so that's ice. Woo!
I feel like eventually your only intro will just be laughter and we'll be like, oh, you know, we can like infer what's going on there.
I'm weak to puns. You go really hard on that C. You're like, comic.
Comic!
I think what it is you've been developing your radio voice. It's good, I dig it.
Last episode, we reached the town of Rioten with the 37 prisoners that you rescued from the Baron's clutches. Within this town, there was a lack of populace since they had left for safer walls in Winstata due to terrible weather problems. After meeting with Cookie, a furbolg that owned the local brothel, she told you about the problems that they had with a hag and unknown treasure that was supposed to lie within the house. The party took on the task of eradicating the hag, and arriving at the frozen manor, you carefully approached, but it was no match for the hag's devious nature, casting a wall of ice behind you and then a cone of cold in front of you, this resulting in a close encounter with death. Luckily, Fig absorbed elements and reduced the impact of the damage. The hag cackling away, Fig decided to animate dead, creating Jeffrey, the skeleton.
Jeffrey!
While he thought out his friends, the hag began drawing them into another room. The group hesitantly approached the room by splitting up and exacting a pincer attack, which worked out in their favor, and killing the hag. We now pick up our scene with, I would say, everyone in the main hall of the manor, and now trying to find this so-called treasure. Or maybe getting the fuck out of there. Really up to you.
Treasure would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know what Imlin's doing. They got their priorities straight.
Okay.
We've come this far.
So, if you are trying to find this treasure in this frozen house, even though the hag died, the results are still the same. Everything's still all frozen over. So, make an investigation check.
Should we all just make individual checks?
Sure.
Yeah, I think maybe we split up.
Okay.
I guess, and try and do that.
Come on, Jeffrey.
Oh, okay. 20 for Emlyn.
14
for Veda.
Can I get advantage because I have Jeffrey with me?
No, Jeffrey does not help.
Jeffrey, bitch.
He's not a smart boy.
He's not. He doesn't have any eyes.
Yeah. It would help.
You think Jeffrey is helping, but you're just sort of like following him shambling around until you realise that he can't see.
Everyone did very well there, actually. So, Fig, you actually find something.
Oh my god.
In one of the upper rooms, hidden behind a cloth, trying to like look through a bunch of different things. You kind of open some chests, nothing there. You pull down the sheet and you find a portrait of a woman wielding a mace in front of her face, which has a distinct scar down from the top left to the bottom right, in full plate armor, and you see a inscription at the bottom of it. It says, Agatha the Bearer, the Knights of the Setting Sun.
Is the scar on her face or is it over the painting?
No, over her face. Like, it's,
Okay.
She actually has it, and it's been painted in.
Cool.
Veda, you don't really find much after picking up some frozen trinkets. They don't really seem to be worth much. You find Emlyn in the kitchen, going through some drawers, and you both kind of pick up on a door that has not been touched by the frost and remains intact, but locked.
It seems like it would be worth investigating.
Oh, I feel like Emlyn is already trying to pick the lock. No, wait. Traps. They check for traps.
Okay, yeah, make another investigation check.
I really just want them. I don't know whether I, Harry, have learnt my lesson, but I feel like it makes sense for Emlyn to have learnt a lesson from all that dungeon stuff that we did that one time.
Yeah.
That's 13.
As you feel around the walls, around the door's edges with your dagger, you can't see any traps of any kind. But it does feel strangely like warm to the touch, this door, and seems to be keeping thawing away. If you want to unlock it, you may use thieves' tools.
I do. Oh my god, that's 16.
It's enough. It's enough.
Okay. I think that's a 5 on the dice, though. Yeah.
Oof. Plus 11.
No, rogues.
Yeah.
Damn rogues.
So Vid, as you stand back while Emlyn cracks open the door, it swings open down into a cellar.
Shall we get Fig and Malara to come with us?
I think maybe that's a good idea.
Probably best not to go alone.
Emlyn says that, but they're like 2 steps down already. And then they stop, and then they're like, yeah, okay.
Okay. A couple moments pass, and you reconvene with Malara, Fig, and Jeffrey, who's still walking around.
Jeffrey. Was there anything like behind the painting? Or is it just the painting was what I found?
The painting is what you found.
I probably tried to take it off the wall to look behind it.
Yeah, there's nothing behind it.
Okay.
Took it off the wall and then you can't like quite get it back on the
Yeah.
thing and just like, oh, just set it down.
I come back without Jeffrey. Something mysterious happened.
Yeah, how long does he last for? 24 hours?
Yeah, he lasts for ages.
That's so long. That's like awkwardly long. That's like, oh, you're just getting undressed for the evening. Jeffrey's still there.
Watching
like
you
saying-
with empty sockets.
It's like saying goodbye to someone and then going the same direction.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the fight, Jeffrey. Oh.
Oh, you're still here? Okay.
So, heading down, it seems to be a cellar of some kind.
Should we send Jeffrey down in front in case there's any like traps?
That's actually really smart, because also what else are we going to do with Jeffrey?
Okay. Don't insult him like this.
And, he can have an eventful time.
Okay.
He's only
I'm just
around for a wee bit.
I pat Jeffrey on his little skeleton butt and go in front, go in. Scooting forward.
He shambles down the stairs.
There he goes.
Nothing seems to happen. He kind of looks back up at you,
Give him the thumbs up.
and he just starts walking around the cellar down here.
Well, it seems fine, I suppose.
Yeah, we don't hear, bolts thud into the walls.
Nope.
A huge creature. Alright. Maybe I go down first, stealthing just in case. But
Okay, yeah, make a stealth check.
I mean, I don't really know if it's necessary, but we also almost just died, so
Yeah, it's fair.
25.
Okay. As you descend quietly down, not a creak from the stairs at all. You approach, having a quick look around, using your same investigation for trying to find the treasure. You see this large barrel of ale or mead, depending on what it was. But you see something like glimmering behind it, that maybe your light's catching it somehow. And you see it seems to be a big block of iron, maybe a fault or of some kind. But this big cask of ale is in your way.
Okay. I probably ask for help.
Okay.
Moving it.
You sure Emma can do it?
Is it like the same height as them?
It's probably double your height.
Okay. No.
It is like, maybe ask Fig.
Yeah. Fig.
Yep, I got it. I'll go over and pick it up.
Make a strength
And
check.
Emmon's helping. Emmon's helping by standing to one side and just being like a wee bit to the left. No, just try and. You gotta lift with your knees. They're like backseat driving, helping.
Would it be athletics or strength?
Athletics.
Yeah. Ooh, 12.
Okay. As you're just trying to pick up, and it seems to have stuff still like sloshing around in it, and it's probably like a bit colder, so some parts are probably frozen. As you just and you push it over, you don't lift it as it's probably that big, and it just like cracks along the floor and then rolls down the cellar.
Oh, there it goes.
Wait,
And hits
is the
the wall.
like stuff? Is the alcohol inside it like draining away?
There's probably a crack, and some of it is draining away yet. But
Sorry.
sitting now in front of you is this large iron vault with a large intersection indented in the middle, with intricate rune engravings all around it.
I want to cast Detect Magic.
Okay,
Okay.
this is very magical.
Oh, very magical.
Is it like a vault like built into the wall?
Yeah, and
It's
it's
a magic door, basically.
yeah, 8 foot high by 6 foot wide.
Okay.
Is it just runes, or does it have any like mechanical parts at all?
Make an investigation check.
Ooh, what kind of magic is it?
It would be evocation, which is the dangerous magic.
Gasps.
It's an 18 investigation.
Taking a careful look around, there's no hinges, there's no keyhole except from this large intersection in the middle, and that seems to be your only way in. Peering through it, there doesn't seem to be any light from the other side, so there is no mechanical parts. This is strictly magic.
When you say intersection, is it like a wee cross or like a little crack or a little gap or
Yeah,
something?
it's a cross, a very intentional cross in the middle. Probably 6 inches wide, and 6 inches high, and then meets in the middle.
Like engraved into it, sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's like a keyhole, but
Okay.
it's very specific cross shape.
But like a cross, does it look like the smart sparkle emoji?
Yes.
You know that shape, yeah.
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 Cool.
Does it look like that is a keyhole, or just looks like a keyhole?
It's the only indication of some sort of keyhole. There's no twister to listen to crack it or anything like that. It's only this keyhole.
I picked up the hag's staff. Does that look like it might be a key?
You could try it, but no.
Well,
not
does
really.
it match? Okay.
No.
Did anyone see anything around the house that looked the same shape while they were searching?
Did the weapon that lady was carrying, did that look like it?
Potentially. As you think about it, if placed vertically in it or horizontally in, it would probably fit a mace.
Sorry, can reminder, what was the weapon that she was carrying then?
A mace.
And it was like the handle of it that might fit in, or the head of
The
it.
head of the mace, yeah.
I saw a painting upstairs that, like, this lady was carrying a big mace, and it might fit in there, but I didn't see
So-
the actual thing.
Shall we see if we can find the miss? We weren't looking for that before, but if we know what we're looking for.
Did we see anything like that when we looked around?
You weren't looking out for it, so
Yeah,
I
okay.
would say
I'm just seeing it as like, in TV shows or animated films when one thing's like lighter coloured, so you assume it's going to be animated. Yeah, that's what that picture frame was for me. I was like, this has to be important. This is animated. Someone's going to move it.
Yeah, we should try to find the miss and see if it works as a key, because I could cast the spell magic on the door, but that might just keep it locked. I don't know if that would open anything, so might be better to find the key first.
Yeah, we'll look for it first, and then if all things go to worst, we can do dispel magic.
Okay, let's look.
Come on, Jeffrey.
We want to go. Do you want to split up into 2 teams?
Sure.
Sure.
Fig
Help
and
each
Jeffrey
other.
and everyone else.
Nobody wants to be
isn't-
friends with Jeffrey.
Isn't,
Jeffrey's a nice boy.
Aren't like all of Vader's stats super high?
Basically, apart from strength.
Right. Okay. I was just basically going to ask who's going to be good at looking for things. I don't know what the character's perception of that is.
I am not.
Right. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe Ellen gets Fig to hold their like little lantern, like high up or whatever, to like help them looking around or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works.
I can use.
I'm just trying to do like words to the helping me look for stuff.
Yeah.
I'll keep my peepers out.
Okay. Make an investigation check with advantage.
So it's 20 with advantage.
20 with advantage. Okay. And then Veda with
19
advantage.
with advantage.
Okay. So splitting up, trying to find some sort of mace. You both find weaponry, but none look like a mace. You have to chip through some ice on the mantelpieces, trying to look for weapons, but there's none. Emlyn, you do find a book with Fig pointing it out actually to you as he's holding it up. Most of the pages are ruined due to the ice, but it does have the same title as what Fig read on the portrait of the woman. It said the Knights of the Setting Sun. Opening this up, it has a list of various names, and you actually find Agatha the Bearer and a picture of her similar to her portrait but more like a sketch, and the last inscription in it says disgraced and has taken the key.
Oh, mate. Yeah, alright, maybe that's in character. And Emily just like shows everyone the book.
What do you think that means?
Means that we either need to go and track her down, or we need to blow up the door of the vault without the key.
I don't know if that would work. But
What if Fig was really small, like a spider, and just went through?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
I mean, maybe just be trapped in there, but you could see what was inside.
I don't want to be trapped in there. What if I get
No, no.
exploded?
We're not going to explode the door while you're inside.
No, but what if there's like magic in there that will explode me, and then I'll just turn into me again and be trapped in there?
If Emily could turn into a spider, they'd just be like right on in there with the money. Just be rolling around. Yeah, and then be like, "Fuck! I didn't think this far ahead. How am I gonna get this to the people that need it?"
Why would someone take the key for a vault and not put it?
That's a good point. Well, I suppose no one else could get inside if they had the key.
But still, why would
Well-
you take it and not take anything from inside?
Does anyone know the spell light?
No.
I have produced flame.
Okay.
It's kind of similar.
I was about to be like, oh yeah, but you can cast light on something little, and you could have put that like through the slot into the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Can we? I mean, yeah, it's too dark, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see through it.
Even with I don't even have dark vision. Oh, I've got some sticks. I can set on fire and then pop in.
Maybe setting things on fire isn't the best idea. You could burn something important.
Are there any bits of moss around
What for?
Snacking.
for chatting with?
Oh my god. As pals, you know,
Yeah.
for pals.
I would say, yeah. There's probably
Cool,
moss.
cool. I'm gonna sit down with the moss.
Mm-hmm.
Are we assuming this is like back down in the cellar next to the vault?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, first of all, hello. If I were to go inside this here room keyhole, will I die, moss? I give it a little scratch.
I mean, it can't talk back, so.
No, I know. I want to know its vibes. Does it feel worried for me? Is it like, nah, you're chill?
It doesn't know. Like, it's just like,
Doesn't have any strong feelings about you.
yeah.
It's passive, moss.
Moss
Okay.
is passive.
Okay. True neutral Moss is. The Moss doesn't know.
Maybe she took the key, planning to come back later, but by then the hag had taken over.
Maybe. I mean, what if you dispel the magic and then I can go in and see what's inside? Because the only thing that worries me is the magic field will like set me on fire or something. And if my animal form gets damaged, I'll just pop into me again.
Okay, but I thought we weren't going to set anything on fire, so you'll just be inside and it'll be dark.
I can have blind sense, isn't it?
Well, alright, Emlyn has like started siphoning off really old mead from the fallen over barrel.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
It's like pure alcohol now.
Oh. So 14?
It's not bad. As you're sucking on the barrel, trying to get some mead,
All right, no. I'm gonna say, hold on. Let's say that they they like put a little, they cut a little hole in it to try and put it in a glass. They're not just like licking it up off the floor.
Well,
It's been a rough day.
They used to make mead. Like they'll know if it's super off.
yeah.
Or if it's, like totally undrinkable.
As you swirl it around, get a sniff, take a quick sip. It's not great, and it doesn't make you barf. So they're not. It's been a while since this place was actually being used. So.
Right, Emma keeps drinking it, but not that much.
Oh, bad news, lads. My only spider form that has blind sight is a giant wolf spider. If we were to have a rest here tonight, I could get, I can turn someone into a fart.
What?
I can turn someone into gas.
Please don't do that. Why don't we just all go back to town and see if anyone knows about this person and where they've gone?
Yeah, I think that's maybe a better idea. I don't want to stay here tonight.
Fine. Someday someone will be turned into a fart.
Please don't.
Is that a threat?
I'll get you someday.
Fuck.
Okay. So you guys wanting to head back to town?
Yeah, sorry, out of interest, it's just because it's been a little while. Do we know, how long the hag has been here? Like, when it was abandoned? Sort of thing?
It's been quite a while, like a good... off the top of my head, I would say, upwards of 10 years. There was, an old baron that lived here, and the story was that he kept all his wealth to himself while he let others starve during a really bad winter, and the hag kind of came and got rid of him. But now
it's been more like 10 years than 1 year.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And then
what's the name of the person? Is it Agatha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Agatha the Bearer.
When I did detect magic, could I sense anything beyond the field of the vault?
No, it's too thick.
Let me in.
I think it's only an inch of iron that you can pierce through or something. So.
You know that meme of the guy grabbing the fence and screaming?
Yeah. Let me in!
That's me just now.
That's Emlyn for sure.
Okay. So, exiting this manor.
Oh, and I take the book.
Okay.
Right, so we've got a picture of her on if there's any information that we could find about her. It's just the book, I guess, but the portrait is huge, right?
Yeah, it's...
Okay, just the book then.
So, making the way back to Roten, the weather calms down. On your way up here, it was almost blizzards. So it was definitely unnatural, all this weather effects all around you. And it's actually quite a pleasant, if not a slightly cold evening. Making your way into town, passing the... I think it was an elf or half-elf at the gate who thought himself all above you. His head still high as you walk in. Kind of rolls his eyes at you.
Beta winks at him.
Jeffrey waves.
Oh God, is Jeffrey with you?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Leave him out
No.
in the cold to die.
Yeah. If
So
you don't,
he helped us.
if you don't leave him outside,
He's a hero.
nah, Emily's gonna pretend they don't know you if you keep Jeffrey with you.
I think this is a conversation you're having as you're like approaching the town. Just be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I mean, I don't see why we shouldn't tie him up outside. He's not gonna get cold, is he?
Well, it's just, I've kind of grown attached to him. He's quite fun, and I made him, so I like him.
Fig, when this spell wears off, will he just dissolve? Or
He'll
what
just
will
turn into
happen?
a pile of bones, I think.
And then what are you going to do with the pile of bones?
Leave it.
You can't go around leaving bones in people's houses.
Well, I mean, maybe they like that.
Set Jeffrey free. You
Fine.
can't.
Fine, Jeffrey, go. I like shoo away. I'm like, go, run away. We
Jeffrey's
don't
like
want you
looking back
anymore.
at you.
Go
but,
on,
like,
get
with
out of
this, like,
Get out of here.
betrayed look in his eye.
Yeah, you like,
You're
takes
like,
a look
no.
back.
You
I
know,
don't
like
love
when
you anymore.
yeah, you know, like in a zombie movie where someone's trying to get their dog to like leave and run. It's that. It's that scene. It's like very emotional. Fig is
Yeah.
crying.
Jeffrey looks back from the forest and then
Yeah.
never looks back again.
Jeffrey doesn't really understand, but
It's for his own good.
Yep, he just starts walking. Who knows where Jeffrey will end up?
Goodbye, Jeffrey.
he's gonna be the villain of the campaign.
We
gonna-
hurt him so deep.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
He
only
only-
got like 20 hours left though. You better get to it.
He only has 3 HP as well, so
So he needs
one
to
trip
find
and
a,
he's gone.
find a benevolent necromancer ASAP so we can enact his revenge in the third act.
We're gonna find him like tapping at our window at night. Just been
Oh.
like, back.
No, that's so horrifying.
Yeah, remember Jeffrey just has this one big arm that is attached by like various skulls because it was all amalgamation of bones. So like he's not like a normal standing skeleton. He's just a weird amalgamation of bones with this huge arm and club. They just kind of hobbles into the forest as you start hearing. As you enter into town, the wolves start howling.
No!
I cannot remember how
You
Emma
have to
like,
hold
reacted.
Fig back.
Oh, mate.
We're all lying in bed tonight and all you can hear is
I think Emlyn hates Jeffrey. If Emlyn hates magic, Emlyn definitely hates Jeffrey and like keeps making comments about being like, it just seems very undignified, you know? If I die and you get me up walking around for you, I'll be very cross.
Meanwhile, Fig's like making dance routines with him and stuff.
Heading into the town now, Jeffreyless. You see,
Recipes Jeffrey 2019.
you see a small cloaked figure, not walking, but skipping, out towards you from the direction where Cookie was. You see a large protruding beak from the cloak, and it shines in the moonlight. As Kenku notices you, tilts its head and approaches. They appear to have a satchel at their side, and they pull out a couple of sheets of paper, and they say, "The Raven Express. 2 silver
That's
pieces."
not the voice I was
This week's issue, The Crushed Uprising. 2 silver.
I will take one and give him the money. Sorry, I did not expect that myself.
How tall is the Kenku?
Probably Emlyn's height.
Okay, so quite a small bird person with
Tiny.
just like a very intense voice.
Yeah, Veda give him 2 silver.
He tilts his head a couple times, takes the money, puts it in his satchel, and hands you a piece of paper. And this is the Raven Express. And he goes, "Thank you."
Thank you.
You can't retcon like that, Sandy.
He's a Kenku. He's copying.
Yeah,
different
it's
people.
copying, right? Okay.
And he looks towards Emlyn and Fig. "Raven
Hey.
Express, 2 silver."
Of course, I give him a gold.
That.
He goes, "Whoa!" He hands you one piece of paper. And he hands
And-
one to Emlyn as well.
No. Emlyn does not accept the piece of paper and is like, no, have you got change?
No change. No refunds.
Emlyn takes a piece of paper.
Hardly.
Fuck.
And he goes, thank you. And then he starts hopping off into the night.
I liked him. I would
It is
call him
already
Jeffrey.
in the paper.
The Arl-
Yeah, I assume it's like a proper newspaper, not just crushed uprising written on a piece of paper.
No. It's a single sheet though. It has some articles, but the big one, the heading, the crushed uprising, reads: Bram Greason, captain of the guard of Winstata, was out on a raid with Red Swords, who you've known were like a hunting party in Winstata, and have seen them a couple times. And some of his most trusted men apprehended a fugitive of the Empire, Lomgir the Mighty, a giant that swore fealty to the king during the Zisan rebellion. Reports say that he was gaining traction in Storstead to his cause. He was said to be amassing weapons and soldiers. The betrayers have been taken to Zoundaria to face trial, which will most likely result in execution. A once mighty warrior turned to such disgrace in the Empire. This will be a big boost, however, for Baron Ramachus Paius, who ordered the raid. Perhaps an earlship in his future, having taken over Winstata from the Earl Sangin, who has been assisting Earl Estavnot with pressing matters.
Is there a crossword?
There's Sudoku.
Sweet.
Mhm.
Fig doesn't know what any of this means, but he's
Emma
excited that
just-
there's games.
Emlyn just read it and then started looking for stock, the price of stock. Stock, how does that work? Did that used to come out in newspapers?
The stock.
That's probably not a thing.
It just says the stock is down.
Yeah, it's just like, prices are up and Emlyn's like, fuck. That's it.
Are there any recipes or anything?
No.
Quizzes?
No quizzes.
It's not Fig's kind of paper.
There you go.
He's looking
Emma-
for an activity book essentially.
Is the back blank?
No, the back has stuff on it as well.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah.
Emlyn has got a piece of paper and has started making a shitty crossword for Fig.
Aww. He's trying to do the Sudoku.
You just fill in all the numbers. It's like,
Yeah, he doesn't know how to play it. He's just like, my
So-
favorite number is 50, so I'll just do that.
So there was a giant that fought for the Zoundarian Empire
mhm.
during the war.
Yeah.
And he's been arrested.
He's apparently.
He's- He was trying to turn against the Empire.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so Stornstead is
So this is at Windstar is where we just were.
Yeah.
The giant stuff is happening over to the east, further away.
Yeah, but it was.
past Zoundaria.
Yeah, but for some reason, the Baron Ramachus Paius, the person who runs Winstata right now, has ordered
The
it
evil
over
person.
Yeah.
Okay. Went over there.
definitely don't like or trust that guy.
And is that so? Wait. Does that mean that the giant and everyone, all the rebels and stuff, have all been taken to trial in
Yeah.
Zoundaria?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Quick bit of revolution while we're helping Melara. Speedy little bit there. Have any of us heard of this giant or the uprising or anything like that?
there. Surprisingly, not. You've.
I mean, I don't think there's
Veda-
any reason Emlyn would.
Yeah, I think Veda might have heard about giants fighting on Zundaria's side. You mean you've been through Dornrune Pass, which is a giant city, basically. So it's not unlikely to have giants near mountains that they hold, but who knows what's happened with this whole situation, and why he's been taken. But you haven't heard of any uprising. You haven't really head that way, and this seems to be just the news of we've stopped an uprising. Was there one? Who knows?
Doesn't sound like much of an uprising to Veda.
Yeah, they're trying.
Or one could be a lot better.
She's like, cute, okay.
Yikes.
Mines will have banners.
I feel like maybe Emily's coming from the opposite direction. Like Emily's like, oh, I mean, not out loud, but maybe they think that it sounds like, wow, there was an uprising. Oh no, it's been crushed. So like maybe they're kind of interested in like finding out more about it.
Yeah, we could investigate when we get to Zoundaria, see what they're saying about it there.
Yeah.
I am here too.
So.
Fig's doing the crossword that I've done now.
Oh, thank you.
But it's all
Emlyn.
just like you know, it's stuff that Emlyn thought that Fig would like or know how to spell.
Oh,
Maybe it's like kind of patronizing.
Like rock, stone.
Actually, yeah, do you know what? It totally is patronizing.
Yeah.
Because like it seems like maybe Emlyn is used to doing this for an idiot or a child.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, maybe we should ask around town about Agatha.
Okay.
Should we ask Cookie first?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
when I
it's
say
pretty.
ask around town, let's ask Cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty late at night by the time you're coming back here. So.
Okay.
It's been a rough day.
Oh yeah, everyone looks like shit.
Everyone nearly died.
Yeah. Heading back into Cookie's brothel, you see her sitting reading the Raving Express with a pretty grim look on her face. Most of the people here are still recovering after the Baron's misdeeds and will probably take some time to recover as well. As you enter in,
Well, we're not dead.
she looks up from the Raven Express. Oh, that's great. How did it... Oh my goodness. I think you need to rest, I think. Are you okay?
It's been a rough day.
Emma's still just got like ice caked in their hair and like their sideburns and like.
Is your kitchen still open?
Yeah,
Sweet.
we can make whatever. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I think I would like a hot bath.
Could I get a drink?
Not a problem. We can do that right now.
That's the character building. Vader wants a bath. The Pig wants dinner.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Veda could absolutely murder a glass of wine right now, but she definitely wants a bath first.
Yeah. It's everyone's got a different order of priority for those three things.
So, Vega getting some food, Veda having a bath up in there. I think there's like a little washroom that they have. I think as well, if the water ever gets cold, Veda just kind of produce flames to make it hotter.
Gotta have a hot bath. You don't want a lukewarm bath. That's just sad.
Veda just screams and the bath water just heats up. It's like,
I really like the idea that she's just periodically making herself real mad, and it's like, oh, that's fun now.
next door neighbors get very concerned.
Emlyn probably has a nice glass of mead or wine.
Nicer mead.
Nicer.
They nearly died. They just want like they get offered like beer, and they're like, "Have you got anything stronger?"
Okay. Yeah, it's some sort of white spirit takes your fancy.
I think maybe if Cookie was like obviously. I don't know if Emma is emotionally intelligent enough to have picked up on this, but if Cookie was like looking at the same news story that we were, looking like real concerned, then maybe Emma wants to ask about that.
Okay.
Kind of gets sidetracked from asking about Agatha.
Okay. What do you want to ask about it?
Literally just like, you know anything about that?
Unfortunately, no. But it's just sad that, people will be executed for having different views on things.
Aye, that's what I thought.
I don't really know all about that place up in Stornstead, but we've had a couple of travelers come through here, and they're not bad people. I think they're just out of it a bit, and they want to change, as I feel a lot of people do, but there's someone trying to do something about it, and then, finger to the throat. They just end up dead.
It's grim. Emma takes a drink.
Veda back from the bath yet?
Yeah, if you want to be, yeah.
Veda
Yeah.
hears revolutionary things and is like, I'm here!
So, talk to me.
Yeah, I don't think Emlyn actually has anything more to say about that unless Vader like interrupts.
Yeah. Veda's gonna get a big old glass of wine, and she's thinking.
Swirling the glass.
Okay.
Does this sort of thing happen a lot?
It has happened quite a few times. I
Just
think the
recently, or
in
all
the
the time?
past few years, it's happened more and more. The first one, I would say, talk of it came from Grossenvig. They're always not happy with the king, but that was discussed out, and then things happened down in Kingsentry. People hate it down there, so and they're not well looked after, so they tried to raise up, and they were quickly thwarted.
Is it always the same barons involved, or are they just all of them?
It is mostly all of them. It was strange this time. It came from Winstata. It's normally closer by than that.
Hmm.
They must have had someone on the inside.
I suppose the people who have power don't want to lose it, so it makes sense.
Seems to be that way. It's just sad.
What is the law system like in Zoundaria? Do these people have a trial, or are they just told, no, you traitors, you dead?
Well, they face kind of a trial. They get put in front of an earl or some noble of some kind that has ruling that day, and then their charges are put out in front of them, and then they are judged then and there.
That's not really much of a trial, though, is it?
No, not really. It's always that way, though. Sometimes it's just a fine, but with this, treason is pretty high, so it's probably death.
What's the justice system like in Sisan compared to Zoundaria?
It's more like our system, modern system, where there's evidence from both sides.
Jury and all that.
Yeah. And it's very...
Just so I know from Veda's perspective.
Yeah. And the nobles, and it's the clergy as well that are the lawyers. So religion and is the same, because that's the beliefs there. So a lot of the lawyers and things are nobles or clergymen. So it's very backwards. It's almost like they're trying to do the same thing, but without, so they can get their own way.
Yeah. I don't think Veda's gonna say too much.
Okay.
She's thinking lots, though.
Is there anything that you would want to express what Veda's thinking, or no?
I feel like she's just kind of mulling stuff over. And also, like, she doesn't know Cookie that well, so she's not gonna be all like, yeah, fuck the king.
Yeah, okay. That makes
Because
sense.
she's not dumb.
Suddenly, like, guards appear from, like, every door.
There's like an emergency button underneath.
Yeah, she's just like, oh really? Like pressing it, like,
Yeah. Tell me more.
Tell me more about your plans for regicide.
I think if the conversation has died down, then Emlyn has, like, got out the book and is, you know, with the picture of Agatha in at the end, and kind of like asking if Cookie knows anything about her.
She peers at the face. That seems to be pretty old. I haven't heard of the Knights of the Setting Sun in a long time. That's an old bearer to the Baron of that house up there. But Agatha the Bearer, I've not really heard much about.
She left the place, and would there be anyone in town who might know where she might have gone,
Most
out of town?
Most of the people have either head to Zoundaria or Winstata. I was supposed to leave as well, but all these points to like all the people that you've brought her. You know, the town's kind of dead right now, and most of the elderly that might know about that would have moved on from now. And but if they were a knight, they had to be registered somewhere, and Zoundaria is your best bet for that. The libraries there would have extensive knowledge of that kind of thing. Similar to this book here, they'll have some record of it.
All right, I feel like Emlyn's a bit disappointed because they just wanted like an easy solution and then lots of money immediately. And I guess that like, I suppose we'll have a look in the library then.
Is there a reason why you're looking for this person?
Maybe if Vader is sitting at the table,
Mhm.
Emlyn's a terrible liar. Emlyn maybe like looks at Vader to see if she like interjects or like tries to say anything about it.
What about the vault?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think Vader would just be quite upfront about it, and
cool.
yeah, she just said it. So
Maybe Vader explains then, because I think maybe Emlyn was just going to be like, no reason. What are you talking about?
So, in the house, we found a vault, which appeared to have a magical lock on it. We couldn't find any sign of the key, but in the book it says that this woman took the key. So we weren't able to find any useful treasure, unfortunately.
Well,
But
that's,
maybe if we find her, but I don't know.
well, that's a shame, but I think we've got enough supplies to keep us going for now. I think the Humir is doing pretty good work and getting people back up on their feet.
Well, that's good at least. I don't like the idea of leaving you with a lot of people to care for and nothing to use to buy food or supplies.
I'm sure the guild will provide. I've put a couple of requests in from Zoundaria, so they'll probably, hopefully, come in a couple of days or so.
I hope so.
And they can go stay in that big house now as well. It's all emptied.
Pretty frozen over though.
Meh. Oh, I did get you this cookie. And I take out the witch's staff thing. I don't know what you can use it for, but it's got little bells on it.
Oh, well, she smiles at you. That's very nice. Where did you get it from?
It was the hag's. She dropped it.
Oh, she just kind of starts inspecting it.
Has this had... Have we had a short rest? No, I've already cast Detect Magic on this
Yeah.
thing. It was fine.
Yeah, there's no
Okay,
magic.
It's not
to it.
going to, like,
Is it
Ice
just back to a
King's
normal
crown.
staff now, right?
Yeah, it's just a normal stuff.
Okay.
Just a piece of wood with bells on it. Just
I'm shocked that you... Oh, I guess does Fig already have a staff?
I've got 2 staffs.
Is he dual wielding? Just like... All I can imagine is with him with a huge staff in each hand, like really pleased with himself, like walking down a hill.
yeah.
It's like a kid with a big lollipop. So, with Cookie getting her present from Fig, seems quite pleased with it. And
The most useless, just little hunk of wood. With some bells on it. Great.
It's a nice present from Fig, though.
He's like, fucking, it's a good stick.
a real good stick. So, Cookie says, so what are your plans now?
Well, we were planning on heading to Zoundaria, so I suppose once we've rested tonight, maybe head off in the morning, unless anyone has any other ideas.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, I suppose the only thing is, if you do hear anything about this Agatha, let us know. Maybe Emlyn like has a place that they might stay in Zoundaria in mind and can like give that address.
She says, well, let me know where you are staying. Just mail me, you know where I am, so that will be easier. And I can have an address there if anything comes up.
If anything urgent comes up, you can always contact me through the guild. I'll make contact with people there.
Sounds good.
Could we, like, write to you, like, pen pal kind of way?
Of course, if you want to.
Sweet. I'm collecting people to write to, because these guys have, like, you know, family and stuff.
She tilts her head. She's like, you don't have family?
It's complicated. They're somewhere. He shrugs.
Do you not know where they are?
No. They're about, though.
Hmm.
So I'm collecting innkeepers to write to. Ones that I like, anyway.
She smiles. Well, I'm glad you like me then.
He just smiles back at her.
Right, you lot go get some rest. I think you deserve it after your harrowing day.
Yes, I definitely need a good night's sleep.
Malara says, I'm still a bit nervous about going to Zoundaria, but I think it could be quite fun.
What makes you say that?
Well, I don't know. It's coming close to King's Day, and that's always a fun time, kinda.
What's
Yeah.
King's Day?
Oh, I forgot to figure not really from here. King's Day is a day of giving presents to each other and feasting and, celebrating the king and the empire. But it's mostly about the present giving and feasts.
That
Sounds
sounds really
like
fun.
a holiday that I would be very enthusiastic about.
No, but you make it your own.
We should have like a big feast and get lots of presents. And we can make presents. I'll make you guys presents. Fig's gonna go upstairs.
I was just going to say, what season is King's Day?
So it's in winter. We're in the last month of the year, Hallows, and we are a good few days from, probably like a week or two from it. So it's like the end of, it's like our Christmas.
As it says, it fantasy Christmas.
I basically think that, like, whatever... I think that where Emlyn is from, they don't do King's Day.
Yeah.
I think they just do, like, New Year.
Okay.
I don't think it's King's Day. I
Fig's
think
still
it's
like,
quite, like, separate, right? There's no one... Like, no one would be welcome to as, like, celebrating the king
Yeah.
where Emlyn is from.
Yeah.
Fig's still just excited about seasons.
I think most people just take it as a time of like reflecting with their family and spending time with them.
Fig is hyped. Don't care what you guys say, he is hyped.
Okay.
He's gonna go upstairs and like plan presents for everyone.
Aww.
Are they sharing rooms? Who's sharing rooms?
I think you are. I think you're sharing with Emlyn.
Second Emily comes in and is like, don't look!
Emlyn's not looking. Emlyn's just sleeping. I like the idea of Emlyn just like doesn't give a shit, and Fig is like really like making his entire body like hide what he's doing. Like furtively looking over, and Emlyn is just like sleeping.
So the night and sleep take you.
You hear tapping at the window.
I think Fig probably has a couple of nightmares of Jeffrey coming back to get him.
Jeffrey's revenge.
Yeah.
Fig wakes up.
He's trying to
yelling.
steal the presents.
Oh my god! Fig wakes up yelling, being like, "Oh, Jeffrey!" And Emlyn immediately like springs to their feet with a knife in their hands, like, "Wow!"
Chucks it at like some coats over a chair.
Yeah, Fig, like the shot is you see Fig sitting up in bed being like, "Oh, Jeffrey," and like a knife just going like straight past Fig's ear, like hitting into the bedstead.
So waking in the
Easily
morning.
startled.
Easily startled. Retrieves
Big
knife, puts back
startled.
under the bed. Waking in the morning, you come down for another pretty hearty breakfast as well. Cookies prepared everything. Even made you like little packed lunches in little cloths you can take
Aw.
with you.
Aww.
That's nice.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And she says, "Was it you leaving today then?"
I suppose.
I think so, unless we are needed for anything here first.
I think we'll be okay. Humir, the less sad looking now, old tiefling, approaches you as well and says, "Yes, I believe I've got everything under control here, and people seem to be getting up, moving around a bit more now, so I must thank you again for rescuing us all."
You're welcome. Take care of yourself.
"I will try." And he just nods and goes back to eating some food. Cookie begins hugging everyone. You know, this 7 foot tall ginger furball just squeezing you all very, very tightly.
Oh, cute.
And just says, "Well, you're welcome at Cookies anytime. Just come by anytime you want. And I look forward to letters from you, Fig."
Of course. I look forward to write some.
Right.
Vada's watching this exchange closely.
She just smiles and gives you another hug, Fig.
Oh, cute. Give her a little hug back. And I'll like slightly like tap my staff against her so she gets like a flower crown.
She gets
So
red
she
in the
looks
face
super
a little
cute.
bit.
Aw.
And she says, "Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you very much."
Fig's just like,
And she smiles and bids you farewell. So, with Plumpkin attached, you begin heading down the road eastward towards Zoundaria. Like I said, we now sit in the middle of the month of Hallow, the last month of the year. The landscape as you leave Roten, sorry. The landscape is filled with ruined stone farmsteads, forgotten hamlets and collapsing churches. Signs of war cover these buildings, some subtle with scrapes of swords and spears on walls, others not so subtle where large catapult boulders have smashed through the top of buildings. It's hard to say which side caused it. And during the next couple of days, traveling down the roads become busier and busier as you're met with many a merchant traveler making their way to the capital in search of wealth or just to get away from the hardships of small town living. Probably close to 7 days travel before you gain sight of Zoundaria.
is Emlyn the one driving the car?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I was gonna say, is it like, are we like passing people on the road?
Yeah.
Are there people who like overtake us on the road who are like merchants and stuff?
Yes, and it becomes
Cool.
way busier. Like as the days keep going and going, it just gets busier and busier. Just more and more people come.
Okay. What I was gonna say is that like 1 or 2 people will like pass by in like faster, nicer like carts, like laden with a lot of stuff, and then like gives a really cheery wave to, and then maybe like 1 or 2 of them, Emlyn is like suddenly hides their face. Oh, their heads up.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Fig could take the reins for a minute.
Just need to go back under this blanket for a second.
Yep.
Fig definitely speak with animals,
Okay.
and I would chat with Plumpkin.
Okay.
So like I don't like use the reins or anything. I just talk to her and ask her.
How to to move and stuff.
Yeah, just like, oh, can you go left now?
Make a animal handling check when you drive
Mhm.
for.
Advantage because I'm chatting with her.
Should it be against mine in case Fig wants to just sort of like suddenly be like, oh, go left, there's some nice grass there?
I think this is for when Fig is driving rather than.
Do I get advantage because I can talk to
Yeah,
her?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh fuck! 2 11s. I'm distracting her completely.
Yeah, she's just like, shut up. I know what I'm doing.
Oh,
I know,
that's
she-
so mean. I
she-
thought she'd be like a nice old lady horse, like the one in the Aristocrats that wears a hat.
No,
Sassy teen.
she is.
Like the one in what that wears a hat?
Aristocats.
It's a Disney film, Harry.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this film. I think the horse is called Frou Frou.
No,
Alright,
this,
thank you for that information.
this is a lot younger horse.
She's got a mind of her own.
Yeah,
She does.
she knows what she's doing. She's been trained pretty well, so she doesn't need that much direction. As you keep just talking to her, she's like,
Emlyn like doesn't really believe that Fig is speaking to her, but then like after a couple of days is like, does she like me?
I don't know. I'll ask. Do you like Emlyn?
I like you all, to be honest. You're all very nice. Just, it's a bit cold.
Oh.
I need to get her a jumper.
I
Or,
will.
you know, a horse blanket.
Is there anything I can use as like a little blanket for her?
You could use like a bedroll.
Yeah, I will give her my bedroll.
The important roleplay.
Uh-huh. I give her bedroll, my bedroll, and I put it on her back, and I say, she likes everyone, she's just a bit cold.
I think at some point while we're traveling, Veda wants to talk to Emlyn.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
We can do like
Oh
a,
no.
We can do
Like when your mum wants to talk to you.
we can do like a scene of
Am I not much older than Vader?
Yeah, probably.
Just not mentally.
yeah, we can draw like a scene of you guys setting up a camp. You're all sitting down, the fire's going, everyone's falling asleep-ish, and Veda and Emlyn have a chat.
Emlyn, when we were in that hag's house, Fig mentioned that you had a kid. I didn't know that you were a parent.
I mean, I don't feel like much of one at the moment.
You know, you don't have to be secretive about your family. You can talk about them. You must miss them.
Oh, I would rather you didn't talk about them to anyone else. It's not just us.
No, I wouldn't do that. But if you feel you miss them, you know you can talk to us. I won't go around telling people things. I'm good at keeping secrets.
I mean, of course I miss them. That's kind of why I don't normally want to talk about them.
That's understandable. I don't want you to worry. I won't let anything happen to you if I can help it.
Thanks, Veda.
You seemed very scared when we were there, and I just wanted to let you know that while I'm still standing, you'll be okay. I promise.
Emlyn, genuinely sits up a wee bit straighter and, beams back because they think that Vader is just, the best. And so I sort of feel like that it definitely does make them feel, much more secure.
Success.
Yeah, like someone's got your back more.
Yeah.
Is there any other scenes that anyone wants to have during the trip there?
Fig longs to see Jeffrey again. And knows what he's doing now. Probably dead by now. He was dead to begin with.
Just cut away to a pile of bones, but the way he's landed, it's just like a skull with a hand doing a thumbs up.
Are we going through forest or anything, or is it pretty open?
This section now is pretty open. It's a lot of plains and farmland that's now just been left alone.
Okay.
Why?
Good. Keeping up for my mum.
Yeah. Yeah, mama.
My mama.
Okay.
Fuck off, mum.
Reaching the end of your travel, the approach to the Zoundarian walls is like walking through a completely different town. People hustling, bustling, selling all sorts of wares, from baked goods to war relics. All buildings surrounding this road as you head in. The buildings are no smaller than 3 stories high, so everything just is in shadow a lot of the time. And we're sitting here around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The walls themselves, as you get closer, stand 50 foot tall, made from this light yellow sandstone. Sitting at the top, you see ballistas and trebuchets. All down the front of the walls are banners bearing the symbol of the Empire, a big, snarling lion head, with an imposing entrance sitting 20 feet wide, with a sally port where standing roughly 15 to 20 guards are patrolling the area. As you pass through the entrance, dissatisfied and grouchy cold faces greet you. Welcome into Zoundaria. Entering through the main gates, you are met with this long, slowly ascending road that continues on for about 2 miles. At the top, you see the Palace of the King. Emlyn, you're quite familiar with this section of Zoundaria. The scene in front of you is only I can describe as organized chaos. A row of trees in the middle separate 2 lanes of traffic, where hundreds of carts, wagons, and carriages are moving up and down the street. Lining the outer section of this road are houses, standing 6 to 8 stories high, all made from the same sandstone. Shops and cafes, restaurants occupy the bottom of most of these buildings, the rest seeming residential. Majority of the windows have shutters all along them. As you can see, people hanging out, enjoying the scene below. This is Merchant's Row. Welcome into Zoundaria, friends.
Oh, Fig doesn't like it. You notice, like, when he comes in, like, when they enter, Fig kind of shrinks into himself, and then he's gonna turn into a little squirrel and hide under Veda's hair, but kind of keep it, like, poking out, but is, like, nestled in.
Veda scratch his little squirrel head.
Is that without asking Vader beforehand?
Okay. Joining the main traffic with your own horse and cart, Malara says, I've put a request in at the Smirking Chest. I'll direct you. If you just continue up the Merchant's Row and the third left, you can take a road down there. We have a meeting to attend to.
Cool. I do that.
Driving up the road, the city is just dwarf any other city that you've been to. And Fig, I think, as well, the streets are just crowded with people.
How does it compare to Hiverfort for Veda? Is she kind of like, yeah, that's fine?
Yeah, I
or
think
is
it's
it
similar.
Like, oh, it's big.
I think, yeah, I feel like it will be similar. I mean, it's up to you how busy you think Hiverfort is. So,
Yeah.
But this place is booming.
I imagine it's a pretty big city.
Yeah.
Veda's unfazed.
It probably feels like home more. As you continue down some streets, Malara navigating you around, you approach a 6-story building that takes up a whole block of houses. More looks like a hotel than a brothel. Some considering this the best brothel in the entire empire, as Malara says, with a big gold sign at the front that says the Smirking Chest, which has a picture of like a mimic on the front of it. Stopping your cart, someone actually valets it into some parking around the corner. Malara paying for this person, helping everyone off the carts, and says, now this is going to be a little bit strange, so I've heard this place is very prestigious, so Ellen, I might have to ask hands in your pockets a little bit.
I don't know what you mean.
Is Fig still a squirrel?
Yep.
Veda, you know this place. This is very famous, and one of the heads of the Knights of Promise run this place. And she's supposed to be a very, very beautiful woman. And she can just control the room like no one else.
Veda's like, life goals.
Is it all like very fancy?
Very
I mean, I guess
fancy.
if there's like a valet for the like cart,
Mhm.
it's fancier than what Emlyn is used to.
Yeah.
Before we go in, Veda might take Fig off of her shoulder and pop him onto Emlyn because she feels like having a squirrel on her shoulder might kind of make her look a bit weird.
What'd you do that for?
Well, I figured I would be doing most of the talking, and
I
having
mean-
a squirrel on me isn't the best look.
Obviously, you should be doing most of the talking, but I'm trying to look presentable here. Emlyn's just doing like crap, like they're sort of like brushing their hair, but like that's because it's not a thing that they've been doing every day.
Veda will use prestidigitation dry shampoo.
Mhm.
Is my face dirty?
Oh, you look fine.
Emlyn's very self-conscious. I guess they also have the big like backpack of crap with them.
That's up to you if you want to take that or not. I mean, it can be left
Oh,
in the car
yeah.
if you want.
They're not leaving that anywhere, especially not in a big city.
Okay.
I like how Emlyn has a bag of holding but still carries around this huge backpack.
They have both, right? The backpack is like less big and heavy than it used to be. It's a bit more like reasonable size, less stuff strapped to it. But they're definitely wearing the bag of holding like, you know, like properly like round their shoulder,
Yeah.
like on the front.
Yeah.
They've got gold like in their shoes and like in their shirt and
There should definitely be like a fanny pack of holding. I feel like that would just be super handy.
Fanny pack mimic.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, horrifying. Crotch goblin.
Maybe Emlyn just, maybe Emlyn always has a fanny pack though. Maybe that's where they're like
I
thieves'
can
tools
see
are and
Emlyn
shit.
with a fanny pack.
Yeah, I feel like that
I've-
works.
I feel like that's where I just got the image of, Emlyn has a fanny pack.
Also, like, come on,
It's-
we're all British here. It's a bum bag.
I guess I feel like either it's like a bum bag or it's like Emlyn just has stuff like secreted about their person. Like you don't really know where it's come from. Like, oh, is that like from their bra, like an undershirt, and it's just like thieves' tools. It's like oh, it's a pencil from their shoe. Like
Got pockets everywhere on every
Yeah.
inch.
Yeah, Malara definitely asks to be prestidigitationed
Yeah.
to look more presentable. And actually, coming in, she wears a lot nicer gown coming into this place.
Veda like fix her hair before we walk through and stuff.
yeah, Emlyn ties their hair up.
Fig's just scrolling.
Literally anything that Emlyn tries to do is undermined by the fact that there's a squirrel just kind of.
He's just on their shoulder.
Entering into the lobby, you're met by a palette of golds and white. Pillars reach high into the ceilings. This room alone stands 100 feet wide by 100 feet long, with partisans on either side filled with people lounging, drinking, eating. Hanging baskets filled with plants catches the eye and creates a welcoming aroma. The marble floor and pillars so shiny you can almost see your reflection. You see a reception desk. As you walk up to the front desk, you see a big ballroom hall off to your left and a big dining room hall off to your right. And stairs behind the reception ascend to upper rooms and halls. There are 3 receptionists, all here busy with customers. As you wait patiently for a moment, a queue quickly fills up behind you. As you wait, the room goes silent. Descending down the stairs is one of the madames that runs the Knights of Promise, wearing a long trailing white dress down the stairs, almost golden skin, long flowing blonde hair, seems to be standing about 6 foot tall, 2 inches. And Veda, you know this to be Celia Fleur. As she gets to about halfway down the stairs, she stops. Everyone holds their breath in anticipation as whoosh! Massive angelic wings appear behind her, and everyone starts clapping. As she reaches
What the fuck?
as she reaches the bottom and begins walking towards you guys. Salut, femme fou, Malara, and friends of the guild. Please walk with me. As she walks, people begin to bow towards her, some even asking for her autograph.
Yeah.
She takes you upstairs, her wings still out, to an office lined with 100, if not thousands of books. Seats in the middle look towards a chaise-longue as she lays down gracefully as wings vanish. Please take a seat as she lounges.
Veda sit down.
It is so nice to meet you. I've had some contact with Malara in the past month or so. I was been expecting you and I saw you approach. Malara, I could get that set up for you, not a problem. And she holds up some keys. And Malara walks over and takes them. She says, thank you very much. It is most gracious of you to lend me this place. And have you heard anything else about Aoifa? Unfortunately, no. We have not heard of anything. She did come here, like I said, 7 years ago, but she suddenly left and we had lost all contact with her. Why is there a squirrel on your shoulder?
I'm sorry, it's not. It's the it's our friend.
He's
I wave.
he's a little nervous. I don't think he's ever been to a city before.
It is not to worry, little squirrel. Please, if you can speak, you may speak freely here. It is not a problem. You are in safe hands.
Fig. Come on.
He'll hop off Emlyn and turn back into himself.
Fig just turns back into himself, still on Emlyn's shoulder.
Emlyn died.
Emlyn just 4 hops forward, like.
That is much better. I just wanted to make sure you are who you all said you were. Obviously, I couldn't speak for Veda and Marara, but I believe it was Emlyn and Fig.
Hi.
Yes. Well, I hope you can grace our halls at some point to have some dinner.
Fig's ears like twitch up at the mention of dinner.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
It is not a problem. I am very sorry, Malara, that we have not heard anything, but you are free to look around, and the place is yours as long as you want it. And I am sorry again. Is there anything else I can help you with while you're in town?
We need to find a library.
A library? That is not a problem. She points around. I am quite accustomed to the library. We do have a good collection here, but if you want a larger selection, I believe the largest one is in the Lionheart district, right off Merchant's Run. If you head up towards it, you turn right, and that will take you to Lionheart district, and someone there will help you along the way. Or if you need a guide, I can provide a guide for you.
Thank you.
When we were on our way here, we heard of a giant who had been arrested for leading some kind of rebellion.
Yes, it was quite unfortunate, really.
Do you know what happened there?
They came in a couple of days ago. I don't know all the details yet. I'm still working on it, but it sounds a bit underhanded to me. I think he was scared of something, and that is why he was amassing some army of some kind in Storstead, not to make a rebellion. That is not like them. I think they're preparing for something. I've heard him saying that the darkness is coming, but I don't know what that means really. And she rolls her eyes.
Does this sort of thing happen a lot in Zoundaria?
It can happen. A lot of doomsayers thinking it is the end of the world and all this kind of things. It probably had something to do with that big glowy light the other month or so. I think that probably scared a lot of people into exacting their plans and things like that, but no, I don't think it is anything. But who am I to say? I feel like you need to go get settled in. So Malara, you know the place. Why don't you just take them there and we will get you all settled and you can come back to me anytime. You must be
Thank
weary
you.
from your travels.
We appreciate your gracious hospitality.
She smiles and she almost bows half-heartedly as she's lounging on the chaiselong. It is fine. Don't worry about it. It is what the guild provides. But be warned, there are some places which you might think are safe for the guild members, but they are not. This is one of the few towns where brothels are not run by the Knights of Promise, but gangs within the city. So be careful where you go, but you're always welcome here. And she smiles.
Can you give us the names of places to avoid or to be careful?
For now, just do not go off the Merchant's Row, and you'll be safe. Heading anywhere towards Lower Town is not a good idea. That's where most of them are, but I keep a good tight ship up here, and I know that you're safe.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
And Emlyn, you know this to be true, that anything off of this main block, which is the biggest district within Zoundaria, anything off of that can be quite scary, and always warned not to go away from that section.
Yeah, I was kind of gonna. Maybe it's not gonna come up, but I just wanted to like think about what Emlyn knows about Zoundaria.
Yeah.
Right, which is like they normally are on, like, stay in the merchants area.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like maybe they stay somewhere that's like cheap, but not like cheap, but like clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like very simple, but it's not like dodgy.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's not in a particularly nice bit of town. I kind of like the idea as well that maybe like the people that they know here, or like the places they stay, are like not places they could take Fig or Vader, because a lot of them are like
Halfling safe.
you know, like, yeah, or like, you know, like dwarf sized or halfling sized, like
Okay.
boarding houses or like
Yeah,
shops and stuff. Like maybe, I don't know how much like you've thought, like I don't want to be like totally contradicting what you've thought about the city. I just feel like maybe that's like Emlyn only knows like one bit of a rougher bit of town, but it's like sort of safe for them.
Okay, yeah.
And like the merchant bit, and then the rest of Zoundaria they like don't really know about. I don't think they even knew where that library was. That mention of like, oh, the library, it's only just off the merchant
Yeah.
street, and they're like, oh shit,
Yeah, okay.
I had no idea.
If you think as a halfling that it would be safer for you to be in a halfling safe area of smaller races, then that can be a different thing. I will write that down. Because
Yeah. Well, what's the like? Is it like just a big mix of different kinds of people in the city, or is
Yeah.
it like there are lots of humans, or are there?
no, there's everything. We'll say as we're leaving the office of Asilia, you see all types of genasi. You see dragonborns of all colors. You see other furbolgs, halflings, dwarfs, all shapes and sizes, humans from all various parts of the realm. You see, heading out into the streets, you see kenkus with their little satchels all running around. They seem to be a part of delivering mail and various bits and pieces all around the city. Halflings, gnomes, and it's
Are there,
just
like,
teeming.
Monster races like goblins and
Oh, yeah.
orcs and stuff.
Yeah, there's orcs, goblins, hobgoblins, and there's even probably lizard folk in these areas. And it's very all teeming. You know, it's like walking down a main street in, you know, London. It's just packed, and everyone's shoulder to shoulder most of the time walking on the main streets. It's all very close. And I guess having a halfling safe area, you know, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like that exactly. And also, like, maybe I think Emlyn is chill with dwarves, but
Yeah. all the
probably not
smaller
in with any
races.
other kinds of people.
I mean, it could be like the smaller races, so like kenkus, goblins, dwarfs, gnomes. They all have a little area where you don't want to be stepped on, as giants can frequent the city.
Yeah, and like maybe it's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
It's like a
The beds fit your
Less
size.
space.
yeah, you know, not like it's not like a capsule hotel, but like moving in that direction.
Yeah.
Like
I like to think how normally the buildings are like 8 stories, but they're half stories for the halfling houses, so they're like, you know, floor 1/2.
yeah,
One.
it's like those hostels that have like triple decker bunks instead of double, because
Yeah.
like there's plenty of space. Yeah.
Big is afraid. That's how he is right now. He's not having a good time at
Bless
all.
him.
He's like, this is worse than I could ever have imagined.
I thought I was going to be made of soldiers.
That's rough. I feel like Emlyn doesn't like it, but also they're like used to it.
Mhm.
They just like dug between everyone's legs in the crowd to get out.
Vader's just like, yeah, the buzz of a city. She's like, yes, this is much better. I'm so tired of this podunk towns.
Malara leads you down back into the lobby, And she says, "Oh, I hope you know we're not staying here. We're not getting a room in this place. It's a bit too fancy for me, and I wouldn't want to impose on business, especially this time of year. But I have a little surprise for everyone, since you've taken me under your wing, and we've been on some pretty harrowing experiences, to say the least. I think this could be a nice place to stay for maybe the rest of the winter. I don't want to travel all that much anymore. I'm kind of beat from it all. You know, meteors and hags and dying and... Come, just let me show you." And she walks out, and she actually takes reign of the cart as you hop back onto it. Yeah.
As we walk out, I turn back into a squirrel and hop on Emlyn.
Okay. She begins riding further north upwards towards near the Palace District. She begins driving through. You see people squeezing past the car as you're going up more narrower streets. And she parks it in this stable parking lot kind of situation. I mean, busy city you gotta be. Where she speaks to the person and seems to book a slot for your horse and cart. And says, "Yes, we'll probably be here for a while now. And she hands the person a small sack of gold and says, "That should be enough, but if you need anything, and she takes out like a little inkwell and writes on an address. Says, "We'll be here if you need us." "Okay, guys, let's go for a walk." As you begin walking through the streets, you see the streets become a bit smaller and more for pedestrian walking around. It gets a bit quieter. You start seeing just more and more cafes and bakeries over your weaponry shops. You can just see people outside drinking coffee, being waited upon with wine and various foods. And you come to a street and you see up on the sign, and she says, "This is where we're going to be staying." And it's a place called Lullaby Lane. And as you look down the path, there's just bookshops. She goes up to one of the doors. It seems to be a residential area. She puts in the key, opens it up. You see ceramic stonework, ceramic flooring, and this light stonework all over this place. It's about a 5-story building, this one. You begin walking up the stairs. One set of stairs, second set of stairs, third set of stairs. She comes to a big oak door. She puts in the key, opens it up, and she says, "Well, welcome to our new home."
I pop out of being a squirrel. Ooh, this is cool! And I run around.
Okay.
Looking around.
Walking inside, there's a big hallway area. There's a small kitchenette off to the left-hand side and a little living room area. It seems to have some furnishings. Onto the right-hand side are 2 bedrooms, one with 2 good-sized beds, singles, and one with a double bed. A modest-sized bathroom with a pretty large bath, and some storage for your bits and pieces. The windows in the living room open out into Lullaby Lane, where it has like a small balcony that you can peer out of, with big shutters that hit the floor. And this is your apartment in Zoundaria. She says, "I thought it would be nice to kind of have our own place, and so we can come back anytime, and if we want to all explore different places, we'd always have a place to come back to that was a bit more secret and nice. And I don't know, I might want to be here a bit longer than you guys, looking for Aoifa, so I hope it's okay."
It's lovely, Malara. Thank you. I
Whose
give
room
her a
is
little
whose?
kiss on the cheek.
Well, the one with the double bed is mine, Veda's, and that room through there is yours and Emlyn's, if that's okay. I would have got something bigger, but it's the only ones they kind of had, so.
Emlyn were roommates. And they were roommates.
It's a big room, though. A definite partition could be put in to separate the room a bit.
I think Emlyn just really likes it. But maybe
Emlyn's
they
like,
do
thank goodness we're not staying in the giant fancy
I
brothel.
know, I think they're only used to saying, like, they were worried because we were in such a big fancy place, and it was either that or like a tiny bunk bed in a halfling hostel somewhere. So they're like absolutely psyched.
Well, go get settled in, and maybe we can go out for dinner or something. I don't know. You know.
Oh, I could eat.
You could always eat.
True. But it's like dinner time.
So yeah, getting all your stuff prepped out. There is like a sofa and some cabinets and things that you can now do as you wish with. I'm just very excited for you guys to have a
The
apartment.
little flat.
Yeah.
Is there a bed in mine and Emlyn's room that's closer to the window?
No, they're equally apart. There's
Can I
windows goes
pull
up.
it to the window?
It would put it in the middle of the room and very.
Oh my god.
You could definitely shuffle it around so you're right next to the window and Emlyn's up against the other wall. So.
I think Emlyn wouldn't really mind having a smaller bit of the room, but they kind of do want to make a partition.
Is there a windowsill in the room or any like little tables?
There's a windowsill, yeah. This one just has like shutters that open out into a small back garden area where people like hang out washing and things like that.
Fig's gonna unpack some of his stuff from his bag, including some of his special rocks. And you notice as he puts them out, some are like really smooth or really round or something, that's why he has them, but there's some like slightly bigger ones that have like smiley faces scraped into them.
Veda can now hang up all our clothes. Yeah, is there any like
she'll like unpack and like hang up her performance outfits and stuff.
yeah. Is there
Get some wrinkles out of them.
Yeah. Is there any like weird thing like Fig that you kind of do to make this place your own a little bit?
I think she would mostly like unpack her clothes, and that's like the main thing that's like her settling in somewhere. It's like actually properly unpacking her clothes and hanging them up.
Okay.
And set her loot on her side of the bed.
Which
She
side
doesn't
of
have
the
any
bed is
rocks or anything.
Left or right?
I think she takes whichever is furthest away from the door.
Okay, so
The
that'd be the right side.
Anti-murder space.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense from Lara. Okay, to the right side. Yeah, I think your room's a bit smaller than Emlyn and Fig's, but you know it doesn't need tons of space. It has like a floor-length mirror as well. It's in it. Yeah, Emlyn, is there anything you do to how much stuff do you unpack? I guess.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that maybe if we're like hanging around for a while, then maybe what they do is they go and sell some of their nonsense, because I think it's getting a bit ridiculous. I think maybe it's got to the point where they sort of like reach into the bag of holding and they're like reaching past a lot of stuff to get to the thing that they're thinking of. And maybe they come back with like some kind of piece of cloth that they can hang from the ceiling to make a partition, and like a wee plant or something for Fig.
Okay.
Aww.
Yeah, do you want a cloth partition or like a wood partition?
I think no, I think the thing that Emlyn like instinctively like thinks of, and probably because it's more flexible and they want to make it like basically a room.
Okay.
You know, they want to make it like a small room. Yeah, and also because it's just like nice and homely.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, as everyone's packing things away, you're given your own set of keys to your flat. We'll say flat 1632 Lullaby Lane. That's where you're going to be living.
Also, I just think Emlyn is excited. It's like Emlyn is like genuinely psyched to have a proper little homely place, since they kind of otherwise don't necessarily have a home to go to.
Mhm.
So they're very like they're like excited in IKEA is Emlyn's mood. Do you know what I mean? That's definitely why they come back with like a plant for Fig. Like they didn't even realize they'd spent the money on it, but then they're like, you know, they're just sort of like extra benevolent because they just like they got so psyched.
Yeah.
We didn't have a ladle for the kitchen, so you know they brought a ladle and a spatula and a pan.
So yeah, as you go out looking for all these bits and pieces, you can out of Lullaby Lane. There's there's a more of a main market area that you can pick up bits and pieces. You can easily find all the things that you're looking for.
Okay, cool.
And it's pretty quick. You know, shops don't really close. It's the same they do in smaller cities. If they do close, it'll be 10 or 11 at night. You would know this, so it's very full on work hours here. You know, walking past into Lullaby Lane, there's a small plant shop as you enter into Lullaby Lane, and you pick up a plant along the way. You know, happily strolling along. Yeah, is there anything else that anyone else wants to do?
I am gonna tie lots of twigs to my bed.
Okay.
And make it almost like a bush bed. Just throw the twigs just tied to it.
Okay.
And hang up some like little twiggy sort of things that are tied together. That's almost like a decoration, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Does he has some leaves that he collects as well?
Of course.
He lays them out on the table.
On the table. Okay. So you don't go out and pick up anything? I guess you don't want to leave, really.
Yeah. He's just
Was
making his own
there-
little like forest in his room.
Did Veda see any signs of like magical item shops or anything while we were walking anywhere like that?
I think so. Yeah. They're not advertised as magical shops, but you get the sense from some of the decor of some of the shops they are magical, but you know, there's like more of apothecaries and weapon shops that might have like on display this really nice magical item that they're selling.
Okay. What she's looking for is she wants to see if she can find any kind of magical communication, like if anywhere's selling like paper that she can write to someone and they have it instantly, or something like that.
Make an investigation check.
22.
Ooh, nice.
Trying real hard.
Actually, on Lullaby Lane, you think this might be your actual best bet. Since it's to do with paper and ink, you walk into a couple of shops and they're very, very dusty. There's just books piled up everywhere, all different tomes and volumes of different things, all disorganized. Inquiring with one of these bookshops, you see this gnome person, big glasses, very frizzy ginger hair, and a very unkempt mustache. As you enter in trying to inquire about this, they say, well, I do seem to have some here. Now I can get them for you, if you so wish. It will cost you a little bit, if that is okay with you.
How much?
He takes out strips of paper and a quill of a peacock feather and a ink in a white bottle. He says, for the set that would be 25 gold pieces. I know it is much, but it can be very good to instantly transmit anything you wish.
How many pieces of paper are included?
He flicks through them. 10.
Okay, that sounds good.
But I can make more if you so wish.
Perhaps. I will take those for now.
And he puts them in a little bag, wrapped them up for you. It says, 25 gold, please.
Okay, she'll stand over.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes. As you leave, The little bell goes as you walk out the street. Is there anything else you're looking for?
Get some croissants. Baguettes.
No, that is
Yeah.
traitorous food.
Red wine and blue cheese.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
like the idea of Veda just like wandering around asking for like exclusively foods that make people look at her like, what the fuck? Do you know where
She's-
you are? Extremely strong
she's-
accent.
She needs to be riding around with a bike with a little basket on the front.
Just wearing stripes and a beret.
I'm from Zisson.
Yeah, she might actually pick up some food for the apartment, like some fruit, maybe some pastries and things like that, so the people have got stuff to nibble on.
Okay.
I just find that a really funny idea. Ah, bonsoir, monsieur. I mean, a pie, please.
Zoundarian accents are like posh English, right?
Well, I guess
Are they?
I feel like they're more like.
I'm just
um,
going
Well,
by
I'm
Alexander.
expecting it. I'm ready and waiting for.
I guess the area you're in is more Irish and Norwegian-ish, I guess.
That's a weird combination.
Wow. It's a fantasy accent, so I don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Again, I just like to bring that up. Just
Exactly.
really keep that on the record.
I don't do a really bad French accent. That's just what
You do
Susan
an
accents sound
absolute
like.
fan accent. Yeah.
There might be like sub-regions of, where Alexander's from that might sound posh, but I mean everyone's from everywhere, so it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Having brought back some nibblies, I'm sure Fig immediately tucks into eating those.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Of course. he does.
Just when everyone was out, I think after he'd done decorating, he just kind of sat on the bed. He was like ears kind of drooping a bit, not knowing what to do with himself because he's a bit too scared to go outside.
Does
So
he
he's
like the plant?
Yeah, he did. He don't like when Emlyn came back. He'd be like, ah.
Yeah.
Helped
Emlyn
up
definitely
the-
just picked one completely at random, and is now like, oh my god, I hope he likes it.
He also helped put up the partition because I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Emlyn
Easier.
can't reach that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty high ceilings, but
Yeah, how are they high like for Fig or are they like just like 10-foot ceilings?
I
Like
think they're
Victorian
10-foot
ones?
ceilings. Yeah.
Okay, so he's just
Yeah, your arms could probably pin something up if needed.
oh yeah, easy.
Having brought everything into this unpacked, Malara gathers everyone and says, "So, the guild has given us this place. I've put down a little bit of money for the next 6 months. So, I'm mostly going to be spending my time here. Before I knew that you guys were coming to Zoundaria with me, I kind of already put plans in motion. Had to change them slightly because I didn't want to leave you guys behind, and had to get a bigger place, and luckily they had this available. But I think I want to explore the city, maybe spend a lot of time here. Fig, I know that you've never been to a big city, and neither have I. Lilion was mostly my hometown, and from walking around out in the wild, it's kind of scary, more so than I thought. But I like it here. It's busy, and I feel like I can talk to people, and it's probably not the case, but for now, I feel like this place is pretty nice.
I'm not so sure about it yet. In this truth circle we have going on here at the table. No, I'm not so sure about it yet.
It's a lot if you're not used to cities, but don't worry, we'll look after you.
What do you like? What do you do? Like, everyone's sort of so close to you, and like, I don't understand why there's so little room when there's so much space.
Safety in numbers, I suppose, is the main reason people farm cities. But, there's a lot of opportunity for work and things like that as well. More so than out in the wild.
But
not
why do you need to
everyone
work? If
not
there's
everyone
like,
has the affinity for the nature as you do.
I don't get it. Like, if you have to work, like, what you work for? Like, money and stuff?
Yeah.
And then what you buy with the money?
Food, shelter.
But you can find that out in the wild.
Not everyone can, Big.
It's not hard to learn. I could teach them.
But look at all the people, Fig. I don't think a bushel of berries would keep them going. Or, that's why we have farms, so we can grow all this stuff. But that takes a lot of space, and people don't want to be farmers.
His ears just kind of go down.
We'll find something fun for you here, I'm sure.
Like
Is there any,
drugs! No, I'm joking.
What?
If anyone tries to sell Fig drugs, Vader will punch them, and they won't feel it.
But what happens if we stroll off the main road? Are we strolled off the main road now? She said it wasn't safe.
No, we're okay here. It's safe here. Just stick with us. It'll be okay.
Emlyn is just doing something in the next room, but I personally, Harry, am having an existential crisis. Because what is money? You're right.
Why do we do this?
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Down with capitalism.
We just see Harry, like, trying to get contact with Harry, and they're just in the woods like, why?
Eating loads of poison berries.
Let's go live in the woods and start a D&D commune.
Yes, that sounds great.
Yeah, it just has to be wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
We can build ramps.
Okay.
Lara says, so, we can go out for dinner, and then we can maybe discuss maybe finding Aoifa. I mean, if Celia doesn't know anything about her, I feel like it's not going to bode well for finding her.
All we can do is try.
So, what are we in the mood for eating?
A lot.
Anything in particular?
Yeah, I think let's go eat somewhere that we couldn't get in the countryside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's...
So, heading southward away from the Lullaby Lane, you go on the search. Who's rolling investigation?
As we walk, Fig is trying his best to essentially hide behind everyone else.
Okay.
But not doing a good job because he's 8 foot.
Yeah.
But, he's trying to make himself look smaller and as close to Malara as possible.
I'm sorry, I just decided that I was rolling investigation because Emlyn's like, I know where to go, but they maybe don't. And they're too short to see through the crowd most of the time.
Okay.
Can I roll investigation as well? Because
Yeah.
Fig and me are hungry.
Yeah. Also, can Veda just because she knows cities a bit better?
I rolled a natural 20.
I guess what happens is Emlyn is oh, I know the way to a great place, and takes you somewhere that's oh, it's closed down, or it's oh, it's the wrong street. I can't remember what street it's on.
Yeah.
And Fig is just with his nose fucking turns.
Yeah.
He knows where to go.
Yeah.
He's
So,
not a smart boy, but he knows how to find food.
so Emlyn
Sniffs out all that good shit.
rolled 13, Fig 21, and Veda with a 10. So,
Streets are laid out very differently.
yeah, Fig, you were just hungry, and
Yep.
that's a thing we know Fig loves. Knowing what you're looking for is spice. You attune your senses to the spice of the sea, and you start sniffing around. Keeping quite close behind people. It's almost like a circle around Fig. as you're walking through, and you come to this shop, and outside there's just piles and piles and piles of different spices in little boxes, and it's just drawing your nostrils. And there's a man outside.
Can I buy them?
They seem to be for sale. You've seen people with this kind of style too, where they have a turban style, it's like a blue turban, and it says on the shop, Nuvarian's best cuisine. It has like a guy with like a thumbs up on the on the sign.
Always a good sign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the guy outside doing like the same thing. And you know Nuvaria is the kingdom to the south of you, which is mostly a desert continent. And he says, welcome, are you looking for some food? Or just spices? We have our ovens ready to go. It seems like you're very hungry, sniffing around this whole place.
Big's little nose is like moving like a little bunny's nose.
Yes, we were looking for somewhere to have dinner.
It smells great here.
Yes, have you ever had curries from Nuvaria?
Never had curry before. I go into the shop.
As you walk in, it's a bit of a tighter squeeze. The building is like a 4-story building. There seems to be a couple of seats down here, but then a waitress takes the 4 of you and says, oh yes, no worries, I've got the table upstairs that can suit you. And you said you haven't had any curries before?
No?
Well, to be warned, some of the dishes can be quite spicy and overly fragrant for the palate of Zoundaria. It can overwhelm certain people, and probably why it drew you here.
Big just kind of blinks at him.
I'm
How
sure
tall are the...
I can help him
Sorry.
find something.
How tall are the roofs in this room? Am I like squished down or?
No, they're about the same all over the city.
Okay.
Like 10 foot high. As you head upstairs, the decoration's very different. A lot of extravagant patterns line the walls, lamps, and the tile work. It's all different colors, very bright, vibrant, and it just overwhelms the senses with the smell of all the spices and all the colors of the spices, and all the colors of the decor in this place. Taking a seat in the middle of the room, and it's already bustling, and you can hear there's more seating upstairs. People are already drinking. It seems that they're pairing beers over wine with the curries, and you just see these large plates with breads and that seem people be tearing up and using that as the cutlery to scoop various little pots full of things, and people are just taking little bits of everything and creating a whole other dish inside their mouth. And you see large pots being wheeled around and actually just filling up people's plates with various foods. And you can see that there's lambs and chicken in various styles with different spices and different vegetable combinations. Some vegetables you haven't even heard of that have like 3 chilies next to it of the Nuvarian death pepper.
Emlyn is so excited.
My mouth is watering. I'm so hungry. This all sounds so good.
I'm so hyped. I might actually
I know.
make a curry.
Yeah, go for yourself. Yeah, Fig's ears are just like up. His eyes are going wild. He's just like looking at everything, wants to eat everything. His little tail is wagging. He's so excited.
Yeah, you can tell that this is a very social part of Nuvarian culture where people are just in the middle of the table is almost like a lazy Susan kind of thing where you can spin it around, and as soon as you sit down, a big flatbread is placed in the middle of the table, and off to the side are various nuts and things for you to snack on while you wait. there's a larger selection of beers over wines. But
Would there be Navarian food in Suzanne as well?
I think
Must be
so.
Something
Yeah,
Veda's had before.
I think so. Zisan is about the same distance from Zoundaria, but Zisan being a bit warmer, so
Okay.
they're
So
pretty
Veda's right
close.
at home. She's like, yes, this
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, you, especially being in a city before
Mhm.
like this size, that you've definitely had this. But you know that every chef and it's always someone's grandma's recipe that they've
Yeah,
perfected.
so they're all different.
Yeah. Sitting down, orders are had. What does everyone think they would have? Like level of spiciness over meats.
I think Veda would go for something pretty spicy,
Okay.
but not like crazy spicy.
Emlyn has gone for something like more spicy than they can handle, but like they really like it. I think they're probably like trying to like talk. They're like very enthusiastic about the food, and I think they're telling everyone like you can't really get this cuisine like where they're from.
Mhm.
Like maybe some of the dwarvish food is spicy and incorporates some of the same like flavors, but like you couldn't like there's not like a what is it Navaria?
Yeah, Navaria, yeah.
There's no like Navarian like like restaurants
Yeah.
on the wee island where they're from. And it's also like I think they also order something that's like the equivalent of like a tikka masala or something, like something that's not actually Nuvarian.
Yeah.
it's the Zoundarian equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because a lot of things are probably imported into here, sometimes they use, rather than certain types of potatoes, they'll use Zoundarian potatoes, which have like a different texture, like kind of like a sweet potato. But it'd be like that's their style of dish.
Yeah. That's really good. I think they're also very they're trying to like talk to Fig and Veda, who probably don't care very much about like which beers go best with which flavors.
I mean, I think Veda would listen to that because Veda's not really a beer drinker, but it's kind of like, well, since I'm here, I'll have a beer. So
Fig-
whatever Emlyn thinks would work.
I feel like
So-
maybe I should roll to
Yeah, I was
know
about to say.
whether or not my advice is good advice or not.
Yeah,
Either way, I think Emlyn thinks that they really know about this,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they do.
make a history check with advantage.
Yeah.
Figs
I mean,
is
they
like,
should
"Bleh."
know. They should know. Oh, it's a 15.
15's pretty good. You
I mean,
know
For
this.
the island where they're from, they know what they're talking about, but I
Yeah.
think not.
I think that the descriptions more than the type of beer, you can distinguish like, oh, I know that a dark ale goes well with this kind of meat, so I can pair those together. But there might not be 100% match perfect because it's a different style and a cuisine that you're not really used to. But like, oh, chicken goes well with this, so that should make sense.
Yeah, that's great.
Veda will listen to Emlyn's advice.
Fig just orders as much as he possibly can.
Okay.
From varying spices. He doesn't know what it means. He's never had spice before, especially. Well, he's had like spice, but not like spicy spice.
Okay.
And he's probably like
He's just had
asked
like a cinnamon bun.
yeah.
I feel like we try and explain though, right? Maybe Fig
Yeah.
like doesn't listen, but I think
No, he's not listening. He's too excited.
Emlyn and Vader are like trying to be like, you might like this one.
He also like asks the people behind them what they're having because it smells good and like,
Okay.
do they like it? What do they have when they have here? And
hmm
he orders some juice.
Yeah. Like
Eats all the nuts on the table.
everyone's nuts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think when the food is brought out and like the large portions, they are in metal dishes rather than like ceramic plates. So it's easier to fill up if you want things. And you do see, like I said, people walking around with carts of pots. And people ordering more and like, oh, I want some more of this. Can I try a bit of this? And Fig actually talking to people behind him seems to encourage the culture more. And it starts becoming like a bigger conversation with everyone speaking because it is a very social way of eating. You just introduce more and more conversation. And it's mostly about the food and people's days. And if for a brief moment, the worries of revolution and the king and meteors smash into the ground kind of fade away for moments as you feel a bit at home in this place.
Good company, good food. What's not to like?
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll Constitution, see how
yeah,
I
I was
feel
about
about
to
this
say,
place. Yay!
As all this is happening, Fig, there's this dark brown curry, and you see these dark, almost like black strips of seem to be some sort of pepper. As you take a big handful of the bread and put it in your mouth, one of the person goes, "Oh no, no!" Oh, as you swallow, panicked.
Oh, 18.
18 con save. You start panicking a little bit. It burns the inside of your mouth. Like, it's extremely hot.
Absorb elements.
Absorb elements. You start sweating a little bit, but you're able to contain yourself. It does hurt. It's not like it doesn't hurt, but you don't immediately throw up because of this sudden rush of spices. Your eyes water slightly because it's a whole new sensation. Does Fig like how hot that was, I guess?
I feel like it feels like it was tasty, but it attacked him. I think he quite liked it.
Like, it's quite an inward experience, I guess. Spices, the taste kind of just explode inwards. And it's very fragrant. As you take a camera one that has more, I guess, more like coconut milk style into it, where it's a bit softer, as you take that and kind of it cools down your mouth slightly. And I think everyone
want Emlyn to roll a con save.
Well, I don't think anyone had that much of a spicy food. It was a bit...
Nah, they definitely got something really spicy, but I don't think they need to roll a con save because I know that they didn't make it, right? I think it's just in character that they're just like sweating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're still like really enjoying themselves, but like sweating.
Yeah. You order like a sly glass of milk. Just maybe I'd look at a little glass.
Yeah, I also think that if Fig is like trying to chat to the people behind us, I think Emlyn's actually like pretty, like for once, actually chill, and also wants to be like chatting to the people around and who are at the table next to us and whatever.
So after having a pretty fun evening of talking with lots of people, learning a bit about Nuvarian culture and food, is there a place that you guys want to go or do? Or is it just going to be crashing out and seeing what the day has for you next?
Veda would be into like going to find like a bar or something.
Okay.
Like a music bar or something like that.
A jazz bar.
Yeah, she just wants to like see a bit more of the city. She's scoping it out.
Okay.
Getting a feel for it.
Is anyone coming along with Veda?
Only if it's not. If it's obvious that it's like a date, then no. But if I seem invited, then yes.
Everyone's invited.
Yeah.
Insight.
I think Fig seems a little bit unsure because he's no longer beckoned by food. He's just like, oh no, I'm outside now.
Can I actually roll insight to see whether or not
Sure.
Emlyn can like pick up on that social cue or like not at all? Because maybe it's like it's definitely a date and Emlyn is also there because they didn't realize. Oh my god, it's a natural 20.
Yeah, no, like Emlyn's welcome to come along.
Oh my god. Emlyn reads the room. Emlyn understands. They feel welcome. They're having such a good night.
Aww. Yay.
So
They've been so tense for so long.
Yeah, they need a break.
Yeah.
Fig's taken on the tenseness now.
Aww.
Just spread to someone else.
So does Fig just go back to the house?
He's scared to go back alone, so he would just come with everyone.
Okay.
Well, I feel like if I'm insighted up, if I really understand what's up, maybe we could walk via.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of cafes and, some bars near Lullaby Lane, so, yeah, I mean...
Like, maybe we could take Fig home first if he's, like, obviously really nervous.
He is, I think.
Yeah, does Fig, say
Fig,
this?
Do you want to go back to the apartment? Or do you want to come out?
I think I want to go home.
Okay. We can walk around that way.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, we take him home, we tuck him in.
Yeah, we don't want you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I understand it's being a bit scary. I mean, it is a bit scary. It's the sun.
It's a big
It's setting.
place. I just want to see some more of it.
No, you guys have fun. Like, I'll just go home. Okay, don't mind. I think there's some snacks in the kitchen, so they will be gone.
Okay.
So, heading back up towards Lullaby Lane, Fig, you were dropped off at the apartment. There are pastries and fruits for you to indulge in as the rest of the party heads to a bar. We'll call it the Greedy Pig, who's just smiling with apples in its mouth, 3 apples in its mouth as it's smiling. As you enter in, it's more of a classic country bar, offering a whole variety of drinks and things. There seems to be a person playing as well, as people sit, drink, having conversations. People are not really paying that much attention to the stage. Some people are very involved. Let's see, how drunk are we getting here, or how much merriment are we having?
Yeah, I think Veda would quite like to have a few drinks and let off some steam a little bit. It's been a kind of intense little month or two.
Okay, roll a Constitution saving throw. Emlyn, how are you doing? What are you being?
Oh yeah, I feel like Emma wants a few drinks, but is also like old and sensible. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I feel like I.
Veda rolled a nat one. Veda's a
Oh.
sloppy drunk.
Cool. I think what I was gonna say is like I think that Emlyn maybe like knows how to be like drunk, but not like
Veda
they're gonna
drunk.
get home fine. Yeah, not Veda drunk,
Okay, I think Malara will probably partake. I feel like you're egging each other on, so...
Yeah, we're terrible
You just-
influences.
Just like crying on the floor in the bathroom, or like dancing on the tables, or like yeah, that's okay. That's the question. If Veda is really, really drunk, what flavor of really drunk is she?
I feel like Veda's probably quite a happy drunk.
Is she a flirty drunk?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, Malara rolled a 12 for her constitution. Not great for...
For a barbarian.
Yeah. So, I think Emlyn, being of sound mind and, how to hold their drink, they were a mead merchant, so of course they know how to hold their drink.
And they don't want to get robbed.
Exactly. I think the night goes on. I don't know if there was any scene or anything you'd want to play out.
After a little while, if Veda's getting kind of drunk and they're still in this bar with somebody playing music and stuff, she'd kind of like lean over and be like, they're not that good. I think I could do better. But maybe not right now.
That's very good.
I think Malara was like, "Psh, you could do way better than that right now, even after all these drinks and the food we've had. just go up there and give it,
No.
you can
no,
do it.
No.
God." And she starts like plucking at your belly. You can do it.
Emlyn, you don't think I should, do you?
Yes, you do, Emlyn.
I still think you'd be very good, but maybe it wouldn't be up to your usual standards,
No.
and you might regret it later.
Exactly. I have to make a good first impression.
Well,
Her eyes are like half shut.
Well, Emlyn, you have to put on the show then, if Veda's not going to do it. Can we
I
get
don't know
a
what
lute
kind
or
of show you
something?
think I'm gonna put on?
Can you play an instrument?
Not well enough for a room of people to listen to.
Can you dance? Yeah. She starts like
No.
shaking her hips. Yeah.
That's
I
stop
think
doing
you should
that.
dance. You should dance for us.
Come on, why don't we all dance together? Can we? And she gets Malara gets up on a table, tries to grab Emlyn's hands to like put them up on the table with her.
Nah.
Are you gonna try resist?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna work, is it? What's gonna happen is Malara's just gonna like lift them up onto the table and they're just gonna like quietly get back down again.
make a dexterity saving throw. I will make
For 15.
I'll make a strength check for them to see if they can go. A 15.
Ooh.
So I as Malara's trying to pull you up and try almost grabbing at you, you're just dodging out of the way, and she's just like, oh well, forget it, and just starts dancing on the table as the like not very well actually. Let's check.
Veda will dance with her. Veda's fucking hammered.
Okay. I'll say that's an 8. And she starts dancing around, pulls you up on the table and almost just like stomps the ground. And the table just starts like shaking pretty bad.
Does
We're
the
gonna get
table
thrown
make
out.
it? Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I feel like if it gets rowdy, Emlyn is like slightly blending into the crowd just in case they have to pretend they don't know you.
Veda rolled a 26 at disadvantage for performance, so she can still dance even when she's trashed.
Yeah. So you people start watching you dance as I feel a part of the table caves in from Malara, like stomping on it, dancing around, and she falls off as you're still on there. She's like on the ground. Emlyn's like skirting off to the side, just ordering.
Oh,
Probably,
Malara, are you okay?
as people now start gathering around the table, like watching you dance, she says, "Yeah, fine."
Emlyn struck up a conversation with someone in the crowd, so it looks like they don't really know them.
People start getting around. The music starts kicking up as you start dancing, and everyone now starts dancing as, they all look to Veda for inspiration of all this weird. What kind of dancing would you say you're doing?
Is it appropriate
know.
for the music or like completely not?
Yeah, I feel like she would dance to whatever music was happening, so it would kind of make sense.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on what.
I guess it would be
Music
kind of
is-
probably like a jig of some kind, like a upbeat kind of song now, and you're almost like conducting the crowd on how to dance, and it's quite free flowing music. Your arms are very like wavy, hips are all going. People are all like trying to copy you, but
She'll like get off the table at some point and like pull Malara up to her feet and dance with her.
yeah, okay. She's a bit winded, like hobbling around trying to dance.
She just like cast healing word.
I feel like Malaya were just like rage dances.
Yeah, she just punches the air.
Malara's only made the circle pits.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only kind of dancing she knows.
So much. I feel like at this point the party's at the climax, and everyone's just drinking and having a good time. And there's a point where you're, Veda, you remember just like jumping up and down, having fun, and then it's morning. And you're just like, "Ah, you need water."
Oh no.
Can
Yeah,
I,
again, I've just got this like mental image of the three of them walking home, and like Emlyn's like not drunk enough to be dealing with the other two, and Veda's like leaning on Malara, just like barely standing up, and she's just like, "Oh, so glad you're so strong. You can pretty much carry me."
I think that's what happens. She just like
Yep.
carries you home.
Yeah. Just like, oh, my hero.
Malara's like, I could use some of that curry again. It's so good.
Looking for a chip shop.
As this is going on, is there any reflective thoughts that you have being alone in this apartment by yourself?
I think when he got home, he apologized to his rocks for keeping them in the bag for so long, and then he continued to think about what to get people for Christmas. He had a nice bath, ate lots of food in said bath, and then went to bed.
Okay. So
Pretty chill night.
yeah. No inner reflection on anything. Just or is everything like so much that you're just like, I just need to focus on the now.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he's much of a reflector.
Okay.
He just likes to sit and kind of do stuff.
Finish that crossword.
He finished that ages ago. He's not that dumb.
Is he though?
Yeah, he just kind of chatted with his rock friends and the new plant. Got to know the plant a bit better.
The plant was a bit nervous being in a new surrounding, but
Oh.
it's okay. As early in the mornings, as you're dozing off sleep.
I wanted to say something, but I feel like I'll have to like rewind.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess maybe like rewind to like a few drinks in before everyone's like proper gone. I think Emlyn is like happy drunk, but contented and like thoughtful maybe. And I think they probably like maybe at some point, maybe when Malara has like gone to the bar because Veda like opened this line of conversation before. I think they're just like, it's just been a really nice evening. But I was thinking about it, and I think it's a nice evening because it kind of feels like before. Like it feels like maybe I'm just here on a deal, and tomorrow I'll wake up with a headache and I'll be heading back home. And they're not like sad, they're just like thoughtful.
Is this when Veda's already trash?
No, that's why I wanted to rewind, right?
Right.
Okay.
Before
this is, like,
Veda's super drunk.
Yeah, it's like 3 drinks in. You know what I mean?
So
It's
she's
not like
just
late.
She's just got a bit of a buzz on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we are making pretty good progress so far with your debts that you have to pay. So hopefully it won't be too long until that is the case.
Well, I'll just have to hope I can. They still want me back home by the time I've sorted it out.
I'm sure they will. Why wouldn't they? You're wonderful.
That's very nice. I send a lot of these letters. Don't really get any replies.
But they don't have an address to send them to for you.
Well, I normally say, where I'll be, if I'll be there for a little while. No, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they would write.
I bought some paper today. I know you're not too keen on magic and stuff, but I bought some paper and ink, and you can write a short note, and it will appear in the hand of the person who you're sending it to, and they can write a reply, and it will come back to you. And it doesn't matter where they are. So if you want to, you could use some of that and just check in, make sure they're okay.
I would like, of course I want to know that they're okay. Maybe I'll decide tomorrow, but I think maybe I'm a wee bit worried that if I wrote that note, it would mean I'd have to find out whether they can't reach me or they don't want to. We weren't really on great terms when I left, but she's like that, She can be angry one day and we can make up. I just don't know if this is one of those times.
Well,
but thank you. Maybe I will.
Well, the offer stands. So anytime, you just tell me, okay?
Thank you, Veda.
You're welcome.
As Malara stumbles into the table and they go, "Have you ever heard of a thing called absinthe?" And then puts them on the table.
And that explains the nat one.
This is probably like a little reflection as Emlyn is coming in, being like, "How did it go so wrong?" From a nice conversation to partying
Like,
on the
oh
tables.
yeah, the absinthe.
Yeah, like where could we go wrong?
I think Emlyn had like a great night.
Yeah.
They don't mind. They're gonna feel okay tomorrow.
Like,
Veda is not gonna feel okay
After
tomorrow.
Veda. Exactly. Like, if it was Emlyn that had to be looking after her, that'd be different. But I think that they're quite pleased with how it worked out. It's fine. They had a great time.
as like 3 a.m. or something, door flies open. Fig, you're kind of startled as
You could just hear everyone giggling.
Just like walking in, like,
Just being
Don't wake up, Fig.
He is like awake. His hearing is far too good. He probably woke up from you guys in the street.
just heard like Veda singing really loudly walking home.
Saying we are the champions.
Yeah. While she's like dangling upside down from Malara's arm.
And
He's just like in his bed, like that Daffy Duck meme,
Yeah.
where he's like looking to the side.
the Donald Duck one.
Like,
Yeah, Donald Duck. Sorry.
Emlyn's heading into the room, like Veda just sticks her head around. She's like,
Fig, I hope you didn't wake up. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Veda. I'll prepare some restoration for you in the morning.
Okay, I think I need it.
Okay.
That's really
night.
cute.
Yeah, smash cut to the morning of Veda needing a drink. As I think Fig probably wake up early in the morning,
Yeah, he's
watering
Going about
plants.
he feels real good compared to everybody else.
Yeah. He just walks past Veda. I imagine she's in a total state. And
And she's not
pats
talking
her,
much.
Pats her on the shoulder and casts lesser restoration on her.
And like, oh, the headache kind of goes away. You don't feel as bloated anymore. And you feel pretty good.
Elsie just,
Well,
like, put on
that's
the
not
coffee in
fair.
front of her.
She got herself into that mess.
I did not get myself into that mess. Absinthe got me into that mess.
Did you guys have fun?
I think so.
It's just a flashback to Emlyn, like, also chanting, like, chug, 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 and then shut up. They stop talking.
As Malara comes out and just notices a massive bruise on her side, and she's like, "What the hell? Did we get into a fight or something?"
I think, if I remember rightly, I think you fell off a table. I'm surprised they let us stay in there. Did they let us stay in there? I can't really
No,
remember.
they didn't. No.
Oh.
It was alright.
How
It was the
embarrassing.
right time to head home anyway.
I don't normally get that drunk.
Well, it was a good night anyway. Oh, Fig, can you help a little bit? I'm in pain.
What kind of pain? Physical pain or like beta pain?
Both.
Here. I make some good berries and hand them to Veda and Emlyn and Malara, and then cast lesser restoration on Malara as well.
Emlyn is mad. Emlyn looks like scowling, looking for coffee.
Emlyn got good berries.
Mad that they didn't get a lesser restoration.
Emlyn.
It's fine.
as
I'm
well.
fine. I'm just being. It was very sensible, so it's fine.
I pat Emlyn on the back and give lesser restoration as well. It goes on my second level spells.
Well,
Okay.
You'll have nice berries for breakfast, and he's made you cups of tea.
I think with that, we can end tonight's session.
that was
can't
such
believe-
a fun. That was such a cute idea. I really like the idea of like, Laura wants to dance on the tables. Like, it's really sweet.
I can't believe we've almost died 2 sessions in a row. For very different reasons.
Thank you for listening to Draw Your Swords. You can follow Draw Your Swords at DYS Podcast. That's DYS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And if you liked this episode, give the show a 5-star rating on iTunes or subscribe on YouTube. It really helps us out a lot. Thank you.